Hey folks, it's Owen here again with another battle report. Finally back playing a game of Warhammer after probably 2.5, 3 weeks. So I got myself a game last Thursday against Dave Leahy, who is one of the last chancellors and has been a wargamer for a long time, lots of experience. So we have a High Elf versus High Elf Civil War battle line, 2,500 points. Now, if you don't know what the Civil War is, it's a download from Games Workshop. I think it was downloaded about 4 or 5 months ago. It probably wasn't that popular because most people aren't really interested in this sort of stuff, but I think it's pretty cool. It's got a nice bit of fluff behind it. It just gives you extra rules if you're fighting a civil war between two certain specific armies. So here we have the High Elves. So I said, why don't we give it a go? Dave said, yeah, no problem, so here we go. And the first thing you do is you roll on the battle table for Civil War. You roll 2d6 and it gives you a little entry here. So we got a 6, which is we shall not yield, which means that every unit in the game is stubborn, which should lead to a longer game. Secondly, then you roll on the High Elf chart. And for that we get roll 2d6 and we got the Fires of Azurian, which is all flaming attacks add 2 to their strength, as do Phoenix Guard, Anointed of Azurian and Flamespire Phoenixes. So that's pretty good stuff. And as you can see, we actually have some of these units in our armies and they turn out to be pretty tough. So let's move on. So here we have Dave, and he has lined out as such. He has his Flamespire Phoenix, which adds 2 to its strength value, let's not forget. There on the left hand side, he's got 21 Phoenix Guard with full command and standard discipline. Again, plus 2 to their strength. His general, his level 4 mage is in there, who has lower life, Dispel Scroll, and a Talisman of Preservation gives him a 4-up save. He's got 9 Silver Helms with full command and the shields there. The noble is also in there as well, who has his BSB. He got a couple items, Chanted Shield, give him a 1+ save. Other fixtures, Shard, reroll your war save, that sort of stuff. He's got 2 Lothran Sky Cutters as well. Unfortunately, the one on the right there got broken on the way down, but they are a lovely paint job, as is his Flamespire Phoenix. You'll see some nice pictures of it when we go along. Just in front there, he has 13 Shadow Warriors hiding in the wood. The wood actually turns out to be, I think it's a poison wood, and it kills you. It gives you 2d6 or d6 hits if you don't get out of the wood, so he moves them out pretty quick. Bolt thrower just there on the right. And just moving over to the right hand side, there's that bolt thrower again. He's another bolt thrower there in the centre. 30 archers are on the hill, who are going to provide nice cover for those bolt throwers. And it's a Frostheart Phoenix there on the right hand side. Dave hasn't got around to painting that yet, and he has no base for it just yet. And on to myself, I have an eagle there on the left hand side, 20 sword masters there with the full command and the razor standard. Let's just explain the standard. When I was doing up my army, I only had a couple of days and I was a bit lazy, so I used an old army list that I had and just threw some extra stuff in it. What I didn't realise is I didn't actually pay attention to what the units had. So let that be a lesson to you if you're looking at this. Make sure you know what you're doing with your army, because that's a small mistake I shouldn't have made. Again, I don't really mind the razor standard on the sword masters. They can chop up quite a lot more, but I would usually have a different one on them. So anyway, sword masters, and my mage level 2 there is on lower beasts. He's the spell scroll and the golden crown of Atazar, just to give him a small ward save against something that might come at him, you know. There's 5 reavers there in front, and then I've 15 archers on the right, and I put my noble BSB in there as well. That was a mistake, because I didn't realise that I have to fire at the same thing that they fire at. So from now on I'll be moving them out of that unit and into a different unit, because I would prefer to split my fire. And then I have a bolt thrower there on the right hand side. And then moving over to the right, just there I have the Phoenix Guard, 20 Phoenix Guard, and they have the Lichbone Pennant, which they shouldn't really have, but it gives them a +1 onto their magic save if he does fire at me. My general's in there as well, who is my Archmage, level 4, who's on High Magic with the Book of Oath, which I think is just, you can't leave it at home really with the High Elves. You really need that magic buff. The Talisman of Preservation, the same as Dave's guy has as well, for 4+ ward save. I have 2 ball throwers there in the centre. Only one's painted, but the other one's on the way. I have 15 archers there with just a musician, and I have 11 silver helms with a full command, and they have shields, so they have a 2+ save. I also put another noble in there as well, just to beef them up a bit. Who has the Sword of Might, Chanted Shield, Dawnstone, so 1+ rerollable armor save, which is great for him, you know. I have another 5 reavers over there on the side. I did my vanguards actually beforehand as well, so that's them moved up. And then I have an eagle there on the right. So High Elf turn 1, and Dave won the roll-off, so he goes first. He declared a charge on my Aurelian Reavers, and he was 11 away, so rather than just flee and make a miss, I just banked on that he wouldn't get it with 3 dice. Probably took a chance there. As I said, it was a while since I played, so I took a lot of chances and didn't really pay enough attention to this game. So this is a lesson on Warhammer. You need to pay attention to everything, and you need to think about everything, because you can't just fart around and fly around the place. You really have to think about what's going on. But anyway, back to the game. Yeah, so his Phoenix misses out on this charge and goes, I think, 2 or 3 inches, and nothing else happens there. On the left hand side, the Flamespire Phoenix flies over my 5 Reavers, and with his +2 strength to his flame and attack, kills them all. They're all gone, and he lands over there on the right, just beside the Shadow Warriors, who leave the wood because they don't want to get killed with D6 strength 4 hits. And Silver Helms move over on the left as well, as do the Phoenix Guard, and the 2 flying bolt throwers move over as well. This is going to be tough. They're moving very fast. So onto the magic phase dice, and I usually wouldn't leave this in, only it does point at the fact that he has 11 dice and I have 6, and he's using Lore of Life, which usually means that he's got a special spell coming for me, and as we've seen in previous battle reports, that doesn't work out very well for me. And it doesn't work out very well for me here either. The Dwellers Below goes off with a double 6, and he takes off most of my unit, including my Archmage, so that's a bit of a disaster. Nothing else to say about that really. He rolls for his miscast and gets a 5, kills a couple of Phoenix Guard. They have 4+ save anyway, so 4+ ward save anyway, so it doesn't really make much of a difference to them. And that's the end of my probably magic phase for the rest of the game. So on to the High Elf shooting phase, or the evil High Elf shooting phase as I refer to them from now on. And 30 shots onto my Aurelian Reavers equals dead Reavers. They're gone and they're not coming back. Shadow Warriors take a couple of shots at my archers here as well, and they kill 6. Some great shooting from the Shadow Warriors. So it's started a good High Elf turn 1, and I kind of panicked here, thinking to myself, what the hell am I going to do? I've just lost my mage, I've just lost half my unit, I'm screwed. And what I came up with was, charge all the Swordmasters into the side of the Flamespire Phoenix, kill the Flamespire Phoenix, and overrun into the front, and I had used the arc there when I put it back over to the other guy, the arc of the Shadow Warriors, and go to the front of those guys, then block them off with the eagle so that the Helms couldn't charge me in the side. Sounded like a great idea, only that I had to roll pretty high and roll pretty heavy to kill this guy, because in the last one he's actually got a 4+ ward save, which I completely forgot about until the combat phase. But anyway, so they charge in, they make the charge. I just moved the Phoenix Guard down a bit. In hindsight, I probably should have charged them into the Shadow Warriors, because they're dead anyway. I might as well use them to kill something. So send them in, and maybe he'll send everything in towards them, and leave the Swordmasters out there on the left hand side. But this is what's happened, so we'll just go with the plan here. And then on the right hand side, I bring my eagle over this side to hopefully cover the side of these guys. I think the Frost Phoenix is going to come over. He won't be able to charge my eagle where he is there, and if he does, I'll just flee. And I moved up. My original plan with the Silver Helms was to go and charge over, get rid of those archers, and take on the bolt throwers. But I decided just to keep the plan the way it was. Maybe I should have redirected them back over to the left hand side, because the archers couldn't really do much when they're over there anyway. So another mistake, not thought out, and sent them off. And we're going to see why that was a bad plan in a few minutes. Nothing else moves there. So onto the High Elf shooting phase. The magic phase was a bust. I had 6 dice thrown at Wisdom's Wild Form and the Swordmasters, which I didn't cast irresistibly, so he just uses the spell scroll. Bolt Thrower takes out the Lothran Skycutter, which is grand. Gets rid of one of the small, tiny problems in this game. And my archers took out a couple of Shadow Warriors later on as well. I don't think I photographed it because they only kill 1 or 2. Those skirmishing Shadow Warriors are hard to hit, and they do enough damage back. They're ballistic skill 5, which is really good. But yeah, 1 unit down and a whole lot more to go. And onto the combat phase, and the Swordmasters did not do what I hoped they would do. So I had 6, 12, 18 guys in there attacking. I was hit on 3s, so I think I missed 4 or 5 of them. To wound, I was on 4s. if I remember rightly. Yeah, 4s. But I only did, I think it was 7 wounds, and he had a 4 plus ward save. He did 6 wounds. He did 4 plus ward save, and he passed them all but 1. So, not very good. Getting hit back wasn't too bad actually. He only hit me with 2 and then thunderstomped me with 2, so I lost 2 guys. Of course, we were stubborn because of Civil War and because we had the ranks anyway. So we held up. So Evil High Elf turn 2, and unlike my useless plan, which didn't work very well, Dave's plan was going to work very, very well for him. So Silver Helms came straight into the side of the Sword Masters, charging in, couldn't miss because they were auto in, and the rest of his movement there was to move the Sharded Warriors just up nice and close towards my archers to shoot him. There's no point charging in because he has better ballistic skill and he's probably going to kill quite a lot more. Any movement there else? I don't think so. He does move the Sky Cutter across over here to probably get a flank charge and a flank shot on my Silver Helms, who are now in the middle of all sorts of trouble. And on the right hand side there, the Frost Phoenix comes across just to make sure that if these guys are going to charge anybody, they got to charge him. So Evil High Elf, magic phase, and once again I spelled Throne of Vines because I can't really let that thing go off. But Flesh to Stone goes through, so I have nothing left, and now it's going to be nearly impossible to get this guy. Once again, nice paint job if you want to have a nice close look there. So onto the shooting phase, and the archers take me apart. 30 shots, and he must have hit with 25 of them. Unbelievable. And to wound, we had about 10, I think it was 12, maybe some more. Failed 5 saves, and 5 guys are dead. This is turning out to be a bit of a disaster. And even worse of a disaster because the bolt throwers, all 3 bolt throwers go through me, kill 5 guys. The only small upside of this is that now we're small enough we can actually charge the bolt thrower. Of course, I would prefer to have a full unit rather than charge a bolt thrower, but you have to look at the bright. And the combat over here goes pretty much the same way I thought it would be, especially with the Flesh to Stone on it. These guys come in and take me to shreds, and the Frost Phoenix does a lot more damage than he did the last time. So we end up getting nothing off the Frost Phoenix, and we kill 1 Silver Helm for pretty much the rest of my entire unit. And thanks to stubborn Civil War thing, we're still there, but it's the end of them. So High Elf turn 2, and we charge into the front of the Phoenix. I'm determined to kill this guy, and because these guys are Azurian in the Civil War, they get +2 strength. So we're on strength 6, and I know he's on toughness 8, but you never know, we might get something out of it. And that's pretty much it. And the 2 knights on the right hand side also charge over towards the bolt thrower, and they're able to make it in such a way that they're able to overrun, hopefully, when they kill us and go into the side of the archers, which will be very nice because we'll be stubborn anyway, so we might as well do so. Other movement then is just my eagle moving around the back, getting ready to do another charge on this guy over here. So onto my magic phase, and 2 spells I had with this level 2, so I had to do something and get them off really. So the first thing I did was I cast Savage Beast of Horus on myself because there was no other characters around. Gives me +3 strength and +3 attack, so that's not too bad. Even though he's only a mage, at least he's going to do something. Dave let that go just to make sure I didn't cast Wisdom's Wild Form. Of course, with the 4 or 5 dice I had left, I threw it, got a double 6, so he wasted it. So it was a waste of dice anyway. The resultant miscast there was an 11, so I'm down to 0 levels and no spells. But this is the turn where I might be able to do something against this. Shooting then, and we take out a couple of Shadow Warriors. That's all though, because we can't hit these for hell. This -1 for skirmishing is just disaster. And onto the rest of the combat phase, and my unit has been destroyed. You can't see the mage there, he's hiding because he's underneath the Phoenix's wing, but he's still alive, and the Phoenix Guard do nothing. They don't die because he concentrated his attacks mainly on them, on the Sword Masters, but they didn't get any wounds off. And the night combat over on the right hand side means we get rid of this bolt thrower and go straight into the side of the archers. So start of the evil High Elf turn 3, and he charges his Azurian Phoenix Guard straight into my Phoenix Guard. As if things had not been bad enough, they are now going to get worse. And over to here, Shadow Warriors just move right in front of the bolt throwers. So you can either charge either of those, they can take shots at the archers on the left, or the right. Well, actually not on the right, they're not looking that way, just on the left. And he also moves his Frost Phoenix there on the right hand side just to get a charge off on one of my units, or possibly on the bolt thrower as well. And over here, Dave just moves his Lothran Skycutter over a bit, so either he can have a charge on the two knights, or he can get a shot off on the eagle. So either way, it's a win-win for him. And shoot at the eagle he did, but he only caused a single wound, so at least I have the eagle able to do something next turn. Back over to the battle here, and the magic phase for Dave was Flesh to Stone, which went on to his Azurian, which means that I haven't got a hope of killing anybody. And after all is said and done, I have one guy left, and my mage is still over there on the left hand side. Everybody holds because we're all stubborn, holy crap. So my turn 3, and 2 eagles declare charge in the bolt thrower, and both fail their charges, which isn't great, well, obviously it's not great, it's a disaster. Eagle on the left is fine, but the eagle on the right is now going to be in a prime position to get milled out of it. Just a little thing on the top right there, the archers actually drove off the knights and they fled. They were on a double 1 because they're down. The unit itself is down to under 25%, and lo and behold, we get a double 1. So the guys turn around, and I end up facing the Sky Cutter because I'm pretty sure he's going to try and charge me. So the movement over here was this: I turned the archers on the right over so they could shoot at the Shadow Warriors. I'm hoping that the two of them can get enough wounds on it to drive these guys off. And I'm hoping that the 2 bolt throwers are going to shoot and take down the Frost Phoenix. This is a massive ask, and really, I mean, maybe I should have just turned everybody and fired everybody at the Frost Phoenix, but it's not going to be good for me either way. So on to my shooting phase, as I've no magic levels left, and the 2 units of archers take shots at the Shadow Warriors, kill 5. Unfortunately, they're stubborn, they don't run away. And my bolt throwers do half right. One of them hits, wounds, and takes 1 wound off the Phoenix. No use to me because I really needed to get 2 wounds. And anyway, the other bolt thrower fails to hit, so another plan goes down the drain. Sorry about the blurry picture here. So we have gone to my combat phase. Well, when I say my combat phase, it's not exactly my combat phase, because I do very little. My last Azurian, my last Phoenix Guard is dead, and my mage doesn't die, but he does run away. He rolls to try and catch him, and he misses. A mage runs, I think he runs 11, and the horses run nowhere else. Nobody else follows up after me. So onto the evil high elf turn 4. My mage is still running, so he charges into his horses charge into the side of my archers. The fire phoenix, the flame spire phoenix, charges into my bolt thrower. Shadow Warriors in the other bolt thrower, and the frost phoenix goes into the side of the other guys. So this is pretty much mop up time for Dave and his high elves. So 2 things here really. The Lothran Skycutter charges into the 2 remaining horsemen, and the shooting phase for Dave takes off my other eagle, unfortunately, so he is dead. Impact hits kill my guy, but the other guy sticks because he's stubborn, and he also takes 2 wounds off the Skycutter, so that's good stuff. Over to this battle over here, and the Frost Phoenix doesn't do that much to me, but he does enough that he wins combat and kills 4 guys. We try to reform, we fail, so we're going to get battered the next turn as well. And over here, the Shadow Warriors find out that our high elves are putting up a good fight. We only lose 1 guy, we kill a Shadow Warrior, and I'm pretty sure at the end of this, the Frost Phoenix destroys the other bolt thrower. Surprise, surprise. And yes, there we go. Other bolt thrower is destroyed, and the Frost Phoenix turns to face the other archers, who are not looking too hot there. For their battle, they didn't actually do too badly because the battle standard bearer and 1 archer is facing over, and they managed to kill one of those guys. So I think we drew combat actually, but it's all over by the shout. So my turn 4, and Eagle goes into the remaining bolt thrower over. And the new general, or well, there are one remaining mage with no magic levels, he rallies and he just stays where he is. He gonna wish he didn't rally. So combat, Eagle kills a guy, doesn't get any wounds in return, so that's good, but they hold anyway. Skycutter takes another wound, and my guy stays alive, so another round of combat gone. Still over here, and we're done. We're not doing too badly actually. I don't get a parry save, so my shield and Murworm is useless against these guys. But still, I only lose one wound, and we managed to kill another one of the horsemen. So it's not going too badly, but it's not going to be too good in the next turn. And the next turn it is right now. So charge, charge, charge. The Frost Phoenix charges the remainder of the archers who are there, gets rid of them. He can't redirect into anybody though, so he just fails his charge and moves over to there. Flame Spire goes into the side of the archers, and the other Phoenix Guard goes straight into their front. So this is the game over. So Dave was very gracious and gave me the chance to kill a couple of guys before he stomped the hell out of my archers. So Lothar and Skycutter gets killed by my not my BSB, sorry, the other noble. He turns around and gets ready to charge into the archers on his next turn if we have another turn. Eagle and Boltor fluff, and they stay where they are. And then there were one. Everybody's dead apart from the BSB. He holds out. I think he manages. No, he doesn't actually kill anybody at all. That's just a guy left over from previous. We still have a couple of wounds off that Flame Phoenix, so maybe I should have put some attacks onto him, but it's too little too late at this stage. So my high elf turn 5, and all I have left is this guy, so I charge him into the archers, and let's see what we can do. And just a side on view, just to see how fucked the BSB actually is. He's pretty fucked. So I decided to give myself a picture for the magic phase, and we dispel his Throne of Vines, which is the only thing we can do really, just so we get rid of it. So my combat phase, and finally we killed something else. The eagle kills the bow thrower, takes it apart, and hooray for us. And over here then we have my noble, kills a guy, stands up, stubborn, doesn't do anything. And that's pretty much it, I think. Oh, it's not pretty much it, because I still have one guy left. Or I had, at least, until everybody came in and absolutely massacred the poor BSB. He did a good job, but that's the end of that. All I have left is my mage level 2 over there, who's actually mage level 0. And that's the end of that game. So, end of the game, and first time playing a Civil War game. To be honest, it wouldn't matter what kind of game it was. After my level 4 went down a hole with the rest of his Dwellers Below friends, it was kind of game over. And, you know, after not playing for a few weeks, you kind of find out that A, you have to concentrate a lot on these games, and B, you have to really be on the ball and not make any silly decisions. I think I might have been able to pull something out of it if I hadn't have been so impetuous with my sword masters, and maybe done a few things a little bit differently. Maybe if I had put the silver helms coming over onto the left hand side, maybe if I've done a little bit differently with my shooting, but you know, what are you going to do? Lessons learned are lessons learned. So what I will do from now on is I will pay attention to my army list, pay attention to the game, and not think it's over before it's over. But anyway, it was good. Well, I actually considered not putting this game up because of what happened and how I didn't really play very well, but I'm glad I did, because now I'm really going to focus on my next couple of games. So thanks for watching, folks, and hopefully it'll be a better game than